Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 15th anniversary, and it's from one of my personal favorite bands of all time, along with they're part of the whole Swedish mellow death movement. And as you can see by the title, today we're going to be looking into Stabbing the Drama by Soilwork, the band's sixth album, released on February 28th, 2005 through Nuclear Blast Records. Now this is the band's sixth album, and follows up their previous album, which came out in 2003, called Figure Number 5. And with this album, it's kind of a little bit more different, more diverse than Figure Number 5. It pretty much takes elements of some of their past albums, and even sort of their more present stuff, and sort of potential stuff they would do after this album. And most of the songs are pretty much were written by Peter Richards, their guitar player here, and the central theme contains sort of a more simpler sound than on previous albums, with a reduction of harmonic guitar leads. And also feels like this album right here kind of has more of a metalcore centric approach, because a lot of these Swedish mellow death bands around that time pretty much influenced the metalcore bands like All That Remains and Killswitch Engage at that point. And this album actually has a little bit of a different lineup change. They actually got into their then current drummer, then former drummer Dirk Verbruin, who now is in Megadeth. And I feel like with his drumming, it brings a lot more of a technical approach than with the previous two albums, being like Natural Born Chaos and Figure Number 5. And this album is, like I said, I pretty much love everything that Soilwork has done. With each album, it's sounds a little bit different, but it still retains what they are. The vocals, Bjorn Speed Strid's vocals are just great. I love how he can switch from just the screaming into just doing clean vocals. Is, I don't know, it's just beyond me. He's one of my favorite vocalists ever. Guitar wise, Olaf Henning and Peter Richards' guitar playing is just as tick as ever. Just the riffs that they come up with, just tight. The bass is kind of audible. You could definitely hear Olaf Hennings's bass playing. And like I said, Dirk Verbruin's drumming is really great. It's a lot more, I guess, technical compared to their old drummer. And the keys definitely provide a little bit more prominent feel to it, from Sven Karlsson. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the title track, Stabbing the Drama, which you can kind of read with a little bit of a synth piece, and then it's just blasted into the song. Immediately, you'll pretty much notice how refined the instruments and the vocals are. A really kicking riff upon the first minute and a half, and then the chorus soon after. And I really like the neat pattern here, which is entered in the almost 3-minute mark of the song. And Bjorn's vocals really stand out here, in my opinion. He sounds really harsh, and then has a nice small solo, and then back to the verse riffs, and a nice synth piece at 3 minutes and 47 seconds that we hear at the beginning of the song. And it's a really great way to begin this album. I love this. Next up, we get to One of the Flies, which starts off much like the last track, somewhat slow, then it sort of catapults you right into the song. It's really a different part comes in after the aggression. This song focuses a lot on the drums and synth and the bass, and the chorus comes in but isn't quite stand out to me, and the breakdown comes in 2.5 minutes in, and it has a very nice feel to it, and the guitars turn a bit more heavier and a solo ensues, and it's a good song overall, but not as good as the rest of the album. Anyway, moving on to Weapons of Vanity, and I really enjoy listening to this song. The guitar work by Richards and Henning is quite impressive, and the song pretty much makes me think of when I listen to the song off Figure Number 5, the previous album, at times. And the chorus is great, and lyrically, I feel like it's pretty well developed too. And overall, it's a great song, and I pretty much sort of makes you think of back of their previous albums before this. Anyway, moving on to The Crestfallen, and this is, in my opinion, pretty much Soilwork at their best here. And this song itself is so great that it could be one of Bjorn's greatest vocal performances as far as this whole album is concerned. It starts off faster than the previous songs with beating drums and a cool little riff, and then a distorted voice comes in and cuts out in the songs how he chugs along. When you hear Bjorn sing the chorus, you're blown away, sort of what makes you want to sing along with him with their sort of work. And it kind of reminds you a little bit of their song Shadow Child off of A Predator's Portrait. And around 2 minutes in, the song fades out, and Bjorn comes in and shows you how well developed he has become as a vocalist. And it's a sort of a sour part in the song. Not many people like this part because it didn't stick to the structure or some bullshit, but I enjoyed it and I liked it where it was going. A really good emotional song and a great listen to. Then we go into the next song, which is Nerve. And this is the first song I've heard off this album. I couldn't stop headbanging to it. I was really impressed with the guitar work in it. Fantastic mix of like the melody and aggression. And my favorite part comes in at almost 2 minutes into the song with a good strong vocals and a cool riff and ambience in the synth department. And the solo comes in at around 2.5 minutes in and back to the verse. A really impressive song that anyone can just listen to and enjoy. No lacking parts to it. However, I feel like it's a bit more linear than most of Soilwork songs. Stalemate is next. Very fast opening riff and very powerful parts to it. And I was very impressive with like the drum work in this. It really stood out, and Bjorn as always is great and the chorus is catchy. And the guitars are really well defined in this one. And a really cool drum break around 2 minutes and 15 seconds in as Bjorn chants like, now give me your best shot. Very solid song here. Distance, pretty good song here. Has a really weird vibe to it, and when Bjorn kicks in the powerful chorus, I was blown away. And there's a cool little breakdown a little over 2 minutes in with highlighting the drums, vocals, and guitars. And the solo comes in soon thereafter, and it fits well with the song. Man, and it just fades out into black in the heart of the song. And I really love the vocal overlapping and a nice synth at the end of the song. Really good stuff. Next up, we get to Operation Slave, and this one is pretty synth heavy in my opinion, where compared to like sort of like the other tracks on here. It starts off really awkwardly when Bjorn comes in, and I get a little bit scared when the part when Bjorn comes in with the line like like a swarm, and it gets a little slow afterwards, where it's focusing on drums, vocals, and the synth work. And the standout begins for me. It begins in like the 2.5 minute mark. When I first heard it, I couldn't help but rewind and sing along with Bjorn. Very good vocal piece. Hasten the solo by Ola after that, then back to the meat and potatoes of the song. Great track. Then we go into Fate in Motion, and this is pretty much, in my opinion, probably the slowest track on the album. And it has a lot of a different feel to it, and the beginning and sounds very unorthodox as far as Soilwork is concerned. Very eerie vocal performance here, and this synth is utilized more on this track than almost any other you can hear from it. And this song at points doesn't even sound like Soilwork at all. It's different approach and a nice little transition from like aggression from the previous tracks. Next up, we get to Blind Eye Halo. Some cool drumming in the beginning, and it just keeps picking up speed throughout the whole song. And it really shows me that Dirk has some very fast feet, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated drummers ever. Well, now he's in Megadeth, but anyway. And I think this is a much more of a death metal song here, not focusing too much on melody as you hear, and definitely one of the more in-your-face kind of like songs on the album. It's pretty cool soloing in the middle of the song, and this is the shortest song on the album, but like my least favorite. Anyway. Moving on to If Possible, and this is a quite creepy song, and the vocals are just freaky. Bjorn sort of like uses some effect on his voice to add the overall creepiness in the song, and I like the song actually, different compared to like the other their songs, and it shows you what kind of music that these guys can create. And of course, this is here I have is the Digipack version, and this actually has a bonus track called Wherever Thorns May Grow, and I love this song. Great synth work at the beginning of and it sort of like shows the melody that it can produce, and this song continues, has some very nice melodic riffing, and Bjorn's vocals ensues, and it's another track that makes you want to sing along with him. And this is definitely synth heavy, and as Sven definitely shines on this song. And I really love the part that kicks in around 2.5 minutes, which just completely blows me away every time I hear it. And I like how the song seems to deal with like death or reincarnation or something rather cool. And then the album fade is just some eerie synth, and you're left wanting more. And overall, Stabbing the Drama by Soilwork is a pretty good album. But definitely, they could definitely tell as a little bit of different stuff compared to previous albums, but I like it, and honestly, I feel like Soilwork doesn't disappoint. So if I have to give this album a score, I'm probably going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. So yep, that's my review of Stabbing the Drama by Soilwork, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.